here for the weather/meteorology session. If you're not, now is the time to leave. We won't judge you, it's okay. So my name is Eleanor Martin. I'm the Associate Director for Undergraduates in the School of Meteorology, and I'm an assistant professor also in the school. And we have 4 of our lovely student ambassadors here. They are all currently undergraduates in our program. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Amanda Novak, and I'm Andrew Vernon. I'm also a sophomore. I'm Zoe Douglas. I'm also a sophomore.
I'm Joshua Shank, and I'm a junior.
So they will be here to answer your questions. What we're going to do, I'm going to give as brief as I can presentation, probably in the 20-minute range. Some of it may all be things you already know. Some of it may not be. And then we will essentially use the rest of the time to answer any questions that you have about the program. And I will say that the National Weather Center has an open house this afternoon. So their first tour is starting at 1:30. So if you have not had a tour of the Weather Center, I very, very strongly recommend you go down there and do that. You do not need to have registered in advance. You can go down there from 12:30 onwards. There's demonstrations, there's other folks down there, other things for you to see and have a tour. So have some lunch, go head down there. Okay, so as I said, welcome. We have a website. Hopefully you have all seen it. It has a lot of information on it. Specifically, there's a whole section on prospective undergraduate students. I very strongly recommend you get as much out of it as you can. There's also sections up there for registering for visits. There's also sections registering for our summer Met Days this summer, where we will have a whole day specifically for meteorology prospective students, where you can meet more faculty and meet more students and talk to admissions. It's like a super duper sooner Saturday just for meteorology. So all of that information is on our website. So today, the big questions. These are the questions that I'm going to answer for you today. So firstly, why meteorology? This may be more directed towards the parents than the students, but we will talk about that. What do meteorologists do? What do our grad students do after they graduate? Why OU? We are not the only meteorology program, but we of course are the best. So we all think you should come here. And then how can you go about getting your degree, and what can you do in high school to prepare yourself for success in our program? So why meteorology? Kind of goes without saying that weather and climate variations, meteorology encompasses both of those areas, even though they just labeled this session as weather. It does include the climate. They're critically important to society. So I can't stay still, so I'm going to float around. So you may have seen maps like this before. These are produced by NOAA. These are billion-dollar weather and climate disasters. So down here, this is 2018. We can see Hurricane Michael, Hurricane Florence, tornadoes, hail, drought, fires, winter weather. Right? These are all billion-dollar disasters. And then 2017, we have Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Maria, and Hurricane Irma, which are obviously the most perhaps famous ones, but there were many others across the US, right? This is people's lives, it's money, so as well as agriculture, ecosystems, various other things. And this is not just a US thing. Weather and climate do not care about the country boundaries that we have drawn, right? So these are global loss events across the whole globe. These are from a reinsurance company. So insurance companies employ meteorologists, many, many meteorologists, right? Because it's all about money. So there's everything on here. There's some earthquakes in red, so you know we can't do anything about those right now. But there's floods, droughts, hurricanes, winter storms, early frosts. These are all on these maps. So this is something that happens every year all across the globe. We often kind of think about our own little world here in Oklahoma and tornadoes and severe storms, but there is so much more to learn and so much more to understand. And this picture, I know you can't see all the words over here, but this is from the World Economic Forum, talking about global risk. This is the likelihood of an event, and this is the impact of an event. And right up here in the top corner, we have extreme weather events and future climate change mitigation and adaptation. So our two areas, weather and climate, are the highest likelihood, highest impact events as assessed by the World Economic Forum. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff on here about deflation and food crises and other things that I've forgotten about. See, man-made disasters, conflict, migration, right? So even amongst all of those things, weather and climate are the top ones that they are concerned about. So this is a global issue that we can work on at a local scale, which is really neat. So what do meteorologists do? People probably have an idea of this. If you Google things like this, meteorologists do this, or meteorologists do that, right? That's kind of, when we talk to people, they think they're either storm chasers or they're on TV. I get asked that a lot when I say I'm a meteorologist. They say, oh, are you on TV? No. Do you chase storms? No. Right? There are many other things. And I will say this is not part of our curriculum. Storm chasing is not endorsed by the School of Meteorology. You cannot miss classes for storm chasing. You do not take a storm chasing class. The only way you can be involved is through a health and safety certified planned research field campaign, which do happen, and undergraduates are involved in these projects, but this is very different than just going out and wearing your OU meteorology and giving interviews and saying, the school told us to do this. That is not okay. So I'm telling you that right now. That is not something that's part of our curriculum. This side, yes, we have a broadcast meteorology minor for students who are interested specifically in the broadcast area. Everything else about the degree is the same. You will take all the same classes, but you get extra training here in the journalism school on the broadcast aspect of it. So what else do meteorologists do? What do we do at OU? So you've probably heard we have a big severe storm focus at the school. So mesoscale meteorology, we have a big radar program. If you haven't gone down to the weather center and seen the radar trucks, you can go down there this afternoon. We work on boundary layer, we work on forecasting and how do we get observations into our weather models. Sounds easy, but it's extremely complicated. We also have a lot of faculty strength in climate, tropical climate, air quality, polar weather, Arctic and Antarctic weather, satellite meteorology, the hydrological cycle, and we're expanding into other areas, including tropical cyclones and modeling, and all of these other components of meteorology. So I will tell you, there is a lot more to meteorology than tornadoes. Although I know most people come into the program saying they want to study severe storms. That's okay. I will also say there are not 100 severe storm jobs every year. So you need to keep your mind open about what you want to do in the future. In terms of jobs, there's a whole bunch of things listed up here. So many meteorologists are employed in broadcast. A lot of meteorologists are employed with the government, including National Weather Service forecasters, also the military, especially the Air Force and the Navy. The Department of Agriculture, NASA have weather forecasters and weather researchers. Many students may go on to teach earth science or geography or math in high school. But really the biggest sector that's growing is the private sector. So I mentioned insurance companies earlier, hire meteorologists. Energy companies are very, very interested in the next season. Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? Do I need to buy more gas? Do I need to redirect things? Transportation, many airlines hire meteorologists. Distribution companies, Walmart has meteorologists for knowing where to send their trucks, where to redirect things. Emergency managers, air quality is really, really big in many parts of the country. Forensic meteorologists is a thing to go back and investigate. Many faculty get calls from police and lawyers saying, what were the weather conditions on this day when there was this accident, for example? So there's reasons behind these. And about 30 to 40% of our students, when they get their bachelor's degree, go on to graduate school. across the US and actually across the world. About 10 to 15% of them get weather service, state or federal jobs. I will say that the National Weather Service is increasingly looking for students with master's degrees rather than just bachelor's degrees, although some are hired straight out of their undergraduate degree. About 5 to 10% of our students go to TV. We actually have a 100% placement rate of our students who do broadcast and want to work in TV. Within 9 months of graduating, 100% of our students have jobs in the TV field. Some will go to the military, either civilian or within the service. And then the private industry, you can see sometimes almost half of our students go to work in the private industry. This is some information about median pay. I will say, do not expect to get paid $90,000 right out of your undergraduate degree. It varies dramatically across these jobs. Okay? But the projection, the job outlook over the next 10 years is growth in this area. So that's really encouraging, right? That's what you want to see. Will there be a job for me or my son or daughter after I get done? And the answer is yes. It may not be in the area you expected, but there are many, many jobs available. So why OU? If you don't recognize this, this is the Weather Center that's down on the south side of campus. Again, please go and visit it. So it's a large enterprise. Within the Weather Center and the surrounding buildings, there's about 700 people working on weather, climate, and radar just here in Norman. And this is the only place in the world that has something like this. And because of this facility, it means there's a lot of opportunities for undergraduates, whether it's internships at some of the private companies or the government facilities, whether it's just job shadowing, it's undergraduate research, there's undergraduate jobs. Many of these agencies employ undergraduates during the semester to work on topics. About half of the people in this building are federal. So when the government was shut down, it was a lot quieter than usual, even though some of them were essential employees. The Weather Service was still functioning. And so we really are unique, and which is just wonderful. And honestly, if you haven't been there, it will blow you away. So what do we have in the school and in the Weather Center and in the whole building? So we're going to go around this circle from education, which the School of Meteorology offers, as well as basic research. We have different agencies and centers like the Center for Analysis and Prediction of Storms, the Radar Research Center, the Center for Autonomous Sensing and Sampling. So we use drones to measure the atmosphere and the water and the land surface. So that's what autonomous sensing and sampling is. So these small like quadcopters. So we put a bunch of instruments on them and fly them to measure the atmosphere, and they hire a lot of undergraduates. The South Central Climate Adaptation Science Center is also part of our enterprise. We then have mission-oriented agencies like the Cooperative Institute for Metascale Meteorological Studies, which is a NOAA enterprise, and the National Severe Storms Lab, which many of you might have heard of. We then have operations, sorry, the size keeps changing. So the Oklahoma Climatological Survey and the Oklahoma Mesonet are run from the National Weather Center. Obviously the National Weather Service, the Storm Prediction Center, and the Radar Operations Center are all part of our enterprise. And then we have the Warning Decision Training Branch, which does training for, not only does it offer it for some of our students, but also other meteorologists. So having all of this right there as part of your education is something that you cannot get anywhere else. And it will prepare you for the workforce if you take advantage of it, right? So there's many jobs advertised, there's many positions, you can talk to people. Scientists from these agencies come to classes to tell you about what they do, to help teach classes. This is something that is really unique and can really prepare you well if you take advantage of it. So what else is that? Why OU? You can study abroad in meteorology. And so this is the only meteorology program that offers this. So we have an exchange program set up with 3 universities. So the University of Reading in England Hamburg in Germany, and then we're switching from Monash to Melbourne in Australia, but they're both in Melbourne. And these are other world-renowned programs. Right? So that's what some people have told us. Why would I go somewhere else? OU is the best. OU is certainly one of the best in the US. These are the best in the world as well, right? So you are going somewhere equal. And we have it all set up so that you take meteorology classes in these institutions and they all transfer back. You can stay on track with your degree and you can still graduate in 4 years. These are some of the pictures from our recent students that were in Reading, and I show those because I help run the Reading program, so I have more of those programs. And I will say that is because I participated in that program when I was a student at the University of Reading. I was in the first group of students from Reading to come and study at OU. And this is a long time ago. The Weather Center didn't exist, and things have changed a lot since then. So now it's really great to see that continuing. And even if you do not study abroad, students from these universities come to OU and they will be in your classes. So right now we have 10 students from Reading in senior classes, and we have a student from Australia that's part of the program. So you get some international exposure, not just from me, but also from students in your classes. So various other things that we offer for our students. We have a help desk that's run by graduate students for our students to get help in their meteorology classes. So if you find your professor scary, which we are not scary at all, or you just don't have time to go see them, you can go to our help desk. We have a career fair every year. We have scholarships and awards, including needs-based tuition waivers for our students. We do not have enough money to give everybody money, right? But we have application systems. If you don't ask, you do not get anything. That's my general lesson. We have the OU chapter of the American Meteorological Society and National Weather Association. Some of our students can talk more about this. They have a lot of events and a lot of programs, including mentoring for new students, so peer mentoring by other students. We have a weekly tea for all of our students to come and go to. We have tea and cookies, and we can just chat on a Monday afternoon. It's nice. We support our students to attend a professional conference once during their program, if they would like to. And we have our Oklahoma Weather Lab, which is a student-run forecast center. So if you're interested in forecasting or you're not sure and you want to try it, that's a great place to do it. Our students are awesome. We have 4 here. We have another 200 and something other places. If you are not familiar with the American Meteorological Society, I suggest you go and look them up because they offer scholarships throughout your program, including freshman scholarships, so you need to apply for those in high school. They're very competitive, but since 2012, OU has had about 25% of all of those scholarships come to students who go to OU. And about 20% of the minority scholarships as well. So there's a big, wide range of scholarships that the American Meteorological Society offers. We've had many national merit scholarships, the National Science Foundation, NASA, are all programs that offer money to students. And the Hollings Scholarship, which is a NOAA program, this is something you apply for as a sophomore in college. And they essentially will give you almost $10,000 a year, and then you do an internship at a NOAA facility as well during the summer. So it's a really, really awesome program. They're delayed on telling people if they've been accepted this year because of the shutdown. So we're still waiting to find out about our students this year. And so some of them have applied and are still waiting to hear. But we feel very confident about a lot of them. Here's some of our students in action so that you can believe me when I say these things. Emily is just about to graduate. She went to the American Meteorological Society meeting this year and presented a poster on her undergraduate research. Here are 3 of our students from last year doing their capstone presentation. Taylor is our newest student media assistant. Here are 2 of our broadcast students talking about opportunities at OU. Some of our AMS fellowship winners. Here are our weather friends, which you may or may not have seen. They are our students, and they go to various events, schools, do educational work around Oklahoma. And here's a class from a couple of years ago down here in the Weather Center. So you can see they're all smiling. That's good. So we offer one main degree, which is a Bachelor of Science in Meteorology. We also have two new programs that are starting this year that are called 4+1s. So essentially that means in 5 years, you can get a Bachelor of Science in Meteorology and an MBA, which is very unique also, both from OU. So if you're interested in the private sector and the business aspects of meteorology, this is definitely something I would consider. And you do not need to apply for that as when you come in. That's something that happens during the program. And we also have a new program that's a 4+1 with a master's in data science and analytics. So this is more of the data programming analysis side that employers have told us they want students with these skills. They've told us they want students with business skills and with these data skills, and so that's why we've developed these programs. So they will put you in an even better position for employment. And I cannot state this enough, but we are a math, physics, chemistry, and computer science intensive major. We do not just make you take these classes and then you come to meteorology and don't use them. You'll be using all of these skills within your meteorology classes every day. So please be prepared for that. And so that is why we tell prospective students, take as much math as you can in high school, right? If you can get to calculus, that's great. I know some people can't because of what's offered at their schools, but take as much as you can. Take physics and chemistry if you can. You will have to take them as part of the degree. And this is not just an OU thing. Any meteorology program across the country is going to have you take these things. This is part of the American Meteorological Society guidelines. This is part of the National Weather Service guidelines for employing people. You have to do 12 hours of calculus. You have to do classes beyond calculus. If you can take AP or concurrent enrollment, it can help, definitely. We also require 2 years of high school foreign language, and if you haven't done that, you will need to take language when you get to OU, which can mean you have even more classes to take. Prepare for, take the ACT or the SAT or whichever one, both that you have to do. If you're not satisfied, take it again. That's okay. And down at the bottom here, increase your study time and time management skills. I would say often the biggest struggle students have is time management. College can be a big jump from, I didn't really have to try in high school and I got A's and it wasn't that bad, to, no, you need to study and you need to work hard. For every 3 hours you spend in class, we expect you to spend 6 hours outside of class studying every week, right? So that's what's expected. So if you're not doing that, you can get behind pretty quickly. So this is a standard across the whole of OU. So if you're still interested, which I hope you all are, check out the website. We have Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, various other things. Come and see us this afternoon at the National Weather Center. There's parking down there. It's easy to park down there, much easier than up here. Ask us questions. You can email me. You can email our undergraduate coordinator, Shelby Hill, who you can find on the website. But I would say check the website first. We quite often have a lot of questions and the answers are available. I will say this is true for students when you come here. Generally don't email a faculty member and ask where their office is, because that information is on the website. And it drives you crazy after you've had 100 students ask you that. And you're like, it's on the website. I may have said that in my office more than once. Come to our meteorology days in the summer. There's one on June 24th and one on July 15th. So if you can come, I very strongly recommend that you do that. Again, take math, physics, and chemistry in high school and be prepared to work hard and ask questions. That's what science is. Science is asking questions and trying to find out the answers. So get used to asking questions. So I know that we were behind, so everything's running behind, but we've still got, I think, about 15 minutes for any questions you want to ask me as the director, But I would say take advantage of these guys being here. Our students, they're here to answer your questions as well. And so if you have questions for any of us, then now is the time to do that. So, questions. Otherwise, I'll ask you questions. That's what I do in my classes. If you don't ask, then I ask you.
Can you tell me more about the meteorology day?
So it's a whole day. It'll start on main campus, where they give a campus tour, which I know some people have made. If you're here, you've seen that already. And then from the late morning, from about 10 or 11, we bring everybody down to the weather center. We have a talk by the director. We have a faculty panel. So we'll have 3 or 4 faculty members there to answer questions. So not just me, there'll be other faculty members there too. We have lunch, we feed you lunch and breakfast. We also have a student panel, which we usually do. The students will go and talk to the students, and the parents can stay and talk to the administrative staff. So we find usually students have questions for students that they want to ask when parents aren't around. We have financial aid and admissions will come and talk to everybody at that time as well. So it's some of the things that you're getting now, but it's very meteorology specific. If you can come, it's great. Yes, the back.
Is there additional cost, tuition costs, I assume, for studying abroad?
There's no additional tuition. Tuition will be the same. You will be enrolled at OU. So any financial aid or scholarships will still apply because you're enrolled in international credit hours at OU. And then the only things you'll pay to those foreign institutions are housing. Right? So most of our students will stay in the dorms at those universities, and they'll pay housing to that. They don't pay fees or tuition to that university at all.
Is that a full semester?
Yes, it's the spring semester. So it usually depends exactly which program it is, but it goes from January till June for the Reading program. It's about the same for the Australia program. Monash, the Hamburg program is a little different because of the language. We actually will have our students go to a language school in Germany before the semester starts, and that is also paid for to help with their German. And so then their semester goes a little longer, almost till July. So you do not have to already know German to go to Germany and study abroad. Yeah.
The second 4+1, what was that again?
It's with computer science, so it's a master's in data science and analytics.
How much computer do you need? Tell me how much.
For that particular program, essentially it's a whole master's degree in programming.
So it's 34 plus 30 hours.
Yes, for that. And we have it all set up to do that. For that program, there are some recommendations we make for freshmen coming in terms of so we require our students to take a programming class.
How many extra years are we looking at?
That's a 5-year program. So
You need 30 hours in 1 year?
well, the master's is spread over your senior year and an extra year. So that's why we're able to do it in 5 years, because of the way we set up.
Include summer?
I think there's 1 summer class you have to take in that program, but it does not generally include summer. So it uses some of our free electives that our students have to take some of those early graduate classes, and they can double count for your master's.
15-hour load.
It goes a little over that in the senior
That's
year.
what I thought,
Yeah, but it's,
That's going to be
yeah,
yeah.
but it saves a year.
Are they allowed to go beyond that extra year if they need to?
Yes, but they will then be paying for that, of course, yeah. Yeah, yes.
For the foreign language requirement for this class, do computer science classes count for example? Because my high school counts those as foreign language.
That would be an OU question that I do not know the answer to. I'm not certain. Yeah, in the blue.
Will you major in something in the College of Journalism, then minor in meteorology?
Yeah, so we have a minor in meteorology. We also have a minor in weather and climate. So the meteorology minor, it's really meteorology classes. The minor in weather and climate, it's jointly between us and the Department of Geography and Environmental Sustainability, which is currently on the other side of the wall. So that minor, you take some classes from meteorology and some classes from geography. So those are available for any degree. If you are interested in meteorology but don't want to do the full degree, you can do a minor. I'll go this one over here first.
Being that the largest percentage of jobs hired after this degree are in the private industry, what type of companies are hiring in the private industry and what type of skills are you doing for them?
So it's really, really broad. There are many private weather companies that do shipping forecasts, that do forecasts for certain types of other companies. So some businesses hire a weather consulting company to provide them their forecasts rather than getting them from the weather service. They want specialized information for their program. And we've talked with a lot of employers, and they are really looking for, as well as the meteorology, math, and science, they want these more soft skills that we like to say, like teamwork and project management and communication skills. Can they talk in front of other people? Can you write successfully? Because these are all skills that they're looking for in the private sector. So we're really trying to